With breaking news happening now, this is Wave News.
This morning, we're following breaking international and local news. In Britain, a UK police force says it has arrested former Prince Andrew on suspicion of misconduct in public office, and they are searching his two properties. He was arrested on his 66th birthday. Officers were pictured arriving at his residence this morning. Thames Valley Police opened an investigation after assessing reports about his alleged contact with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The assessment followed the release of millions of pages of documents connected to a U.S. investigation of Epstein.
Here in Louisville, a man is fighting for his life after a shooting in the Portland neighborhood this morning. It happened at the intersection of North 28th Street and St. Xavier Street around 2 a.m. Officers arrived and found a man who had been shot multiple times. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Right now, there are no suspects in this case. But this morning, we're also keeping an eye out on the weather because it is an alert day later today.
Yeah, here's Carson with what we can expect.
Yeah, we could have a couple rounds of severe storms this afternoon, but we kind of cover it up with one big alert day from 2 p.m. to midnight. Yes, that time frame has been bumped up a couple of hours, mainly because it looks as though those storms will be moving in a bit faster. Again, upwards of 2 waves of strong to severe storms this afternoon and this evening. The main threats to watch will be damaging wind gusts and perhaps a few tornadoes, especially with any supercells that we may see during the afternoon. And the highest tornado risk later today will be across southern Indiana. You see that level 2 slight risk in yellow for all of our Indiana counties, as well as those of you along the Ohio River and Kentucky. But it's Indiana in particular where we could see supercells this afternoon that may be able to drop tornadoes between, let's say, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Right now, the big story is the fog. Live look at Corden, our SkyTrack camera. Kind of a spooky start to this Thursday at Harrison County. We're mild, too. 57 is our current temperature. We have been tracking some downpours across our southern Kentucky counties all morning long. Those are starting to fade as they drift slowly but surely northeast across the Bluegrass Parkway. So just some light showers really along Nelson County at the moment near Bardstown. One heavier downpour right there on the Spencer-Shelby County line. The next 12 hours show that small rain chance through the first part of the day before those storm chances climb as we head into the afternoon. We'll have an updated look at Futurecast for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you. The family of the woman killed by a city garbage truck says she died in an inhumane way.
Metro Public Works said in a statement they were doing a routine alley cleanup when Tyra Adams was killed. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke joining us now in the studio with more on what we're learning from the family. Marissa.
Shannon, Olivia, the family tells us Tyra Adams was homeless. Metro Public Works says they were clearing out an alley known for illegal dumping when the incident happened. According to them, there was trash concealing Adams. The family's attorney, Stephanie Rivas, says Adams was picked up by a garbage truck in the area of 26th Street and Muhammad Ali Boulevard. Shortly after, she was then dropped near a convenience store in that same area. Witnesses say she couldn't speak and was disoriented. Warnings on the truck say it should not be operated within 25 feet of other people. Rivas questions what safety protocols could have prevented this from happening and what else they'll learn in the investigation.
We do have more questions, obviously. We would like to know who the drivers are, why they didn't call 911, who was their first call, in that first call, what did that person tell them to do or not to do, and were they alcohol and drug tested after the incident? Just a lot of unanswered questions right now, and we would love to have them, but we know it's going to take some time.
LMPD's Public Integrity Unit is leading the city's investigation. The workers operating the truck the day of the incident have been placed on administrative leave. Reba says she is still working to determine the responsible parties before they file the lawsuit. She is encouraging anyone with information to contact her office. We have that number in this story on wave3.com. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Thank you, Marissa. Today, the defense for Isaiah Page will call witnesses to testify in his murder trial. After almost 12 hours in court on Wednesday, prosecutors rested their case. Page is accused of firing the shots that killed 18-year-old Bryce Gerlach during the 2024 Harvest Homecoming Festival. The defense is expected to call at least 3 witnesses, including an ISP crime scene investigator who already testified for the prosecution. The trial picks back up at 8:30 this morning. A woman is facing charges of wanton endangerment and criminal mischief after she's accused of firing shots in a hospital room at a St. Matthew's hospital.
No one was hurt. The gunfire caused a panic, though, and it has some people questioning security protocols. And the question is, how did a gun get into the hospital in the first place? Officials say the shooter, named Mystic Rain from Frankfurt, arrived at Baptist Health on a medical helicopter and was a direct admit to the 6th floor. Police say the first shot went off as a nurse was walking into Rain's room. Police say 3 more shots followed, damaging the ceiling and busting out a window. After about 30 minutes, she dropped the gun. No injuries were reported, but we spoke with people who say they can't believe something like that would happen at Baptist Health.
That's so scary because I worked in nursing homes for years, and a lot of my friends are nurses, so I always think about their safety and what the patients might do to them. And to think that a patient could get into the hospital with a gun is a really scary thought.
Police say the shots were not directed at anyone. Officers evacuated 21 patients before they got Rain to drop the gun. She now has a court date set for March 23rd. 2 people were caught on camera vandalizing and slashing the tires of an elder-served transport van. The nonprofit CEO, Reverend Tim Finley Jr., posted the surveillance video on social media. The video is time-stamped February 15th. It shows 2 people slashing the tires of a clearly marked elder-served bus. That bus helps seniors get to and from the center and doctor's appointments, and it also delivers meals. Finley says they're working to get the tires fixed as soon as possible. LMPD Chief Paul Humphrey and federal law enforcement officials are asking state lawmakers to pass a ban on what's known as a Glock switch.
The devices can convert pistols into automatic weapons. Criminals are using 3D printed plastic pieces to create machine guns in just seconds. Take a look at this. Federal agents showed how fast the devices can be produced and used. That's 17 bullets in just 1 second. Police are seeing the devices used in crimes across the state, even though they are illegal under federal law. In Kentucky, though, if a person is not a convicted felon, police officers have no authority to seize that weapon. That's why they're asking lawmakers to change the law.
The availability of these are becoming it's clear that this is going to become more of an issue. So we want to make sure that the legislation keeps up with our ability to forecast the issues that we're going to have and get ahead of it.
A bill filed in the legislature would ban owning these conversion devices, giving local police the power to seize the guns without a federal investigation.
The first bill of the 2026 session has cleared the General Assembly, and it now heads to Governor Beshear's desk. Senate Bill 172 is meant to handle these sudden spikes in electric bills because of fuel costs, especially during severe weather. The bill provides leaders the authority to require utilities like LG&E to spread fuel cost recovery over several months rather than allowing a large payment to hit consumers at once. With final passage secured in both chambers, the bill now waits on Governor Beshear's signature. The family of a Berea teen killed in a car crash last July is hoping to bring change to Kentucky traffic laws. Tristan's Law pays homage to Tristan Brown, a 16-year-old killed in a car crash. Kentucky State Police say Brown died after a semi-truck rear-ended the vehicle the teen was riding in. The driver was not charged. Brown's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit claiming the driver was distracted. They stated in the lawsuit he was speeding in a construction zone and didn't brake until after the crash. If it's passed, it would allow police to arrest a truck driver for objective reckless driving.
You don't really need more proof for what happened on that scene, yet he still wasn't arrested and he's still walking free, even though it's very obvious that he was distracted while driving.
Lindsey Brown says the family agreed to a settlement in the wrongful death lawsuit. Senator Jared Carpenter agreed to sponsor the bill. The Bourbon and Beyond lineup for 2026 is now out.
The headliners include the Foo Fighters, Mumford & Sons, Casey Musgraves, Chris Stapleton, Dave Matthews Band, and Hootie and the Blowfish. A great lineup here. This year there will be more than 100 artists spread out on 5 stages over the course of 4 days from September 24th through the 27th. And just like last year, the festival will transform the Kentucky Expo Center into a music and bourbon lovers' paradise. All pass types are on sale right now. Organizers say the release of this lineup is already getting a lot of buzz.
So excited. I live in Louisville, so I've had calls, I think, from half of Louisville today saying how excited they are about the lineup.
And you can find the full list of artists and the link to buy tickets on wave3.com.
The week before Bourbon and Beyond, it's Louder Than Life, and 2 headliners already confirmed, Iron Maiden and My Chemical Romance. The full festival lineup for Louder Than Life will be released Monday at noon. And coming up here, the next lineup for PNC Broadway in Louisville has just been released.
We'll have a closer look into some of the shows you can see after the break. The search continues for the missing mother of Today's Show host, Savannah Guthrie. Now authorities on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border are on the lookout for clues.
And it comes as another alleged ransom note demanding $6 million in cryptocurrency was sent to TMZ Wednesday. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie is believed to have been abducted from her home in Tucson, Arizona, which is just over an hour away from the border with Mexico. Her community desperate for answers, leaving yellow ribbons and yellow flowers as a symbol of hope. And Savannah Guthrie's latest plea to do the right thing is on a sign outside of Guthrie's home. Investigators apparently still have no leading theory about a motive in this case.
But this morning, we're keeping an eye on later today. We're fine right now, it seems.
Yeah, just a little fog. That's all we have for now. But this afternoon and evening, it's going to be pretty busy. Let's talk about our alert day that lies ahead. Starting off with at least a few showers still holding on this morning, especially east of I-65. If you were watching us on Wave earlier on Sunrise, we had a pretty solid line of downpours across southern Kentucky. All that's left now are just a couple of isolated downpours, one of which is in southern Shelby County. You see right on the Shelby-Spencer County line. Another heavy downpour near Springfield and Washington County, Kentucky, and more widespread showers at the moment across Nelson and LaRue counties. But in general, we're looking pretty quiet for your morning drive. The main issue for now is just some patchy fog, especially if you live outside of Louisville. But once we get past 2 o'clock this afternoon, we'll be tracking maybe 2 rounds of strong to severe storms, one of which will be during the afternoon. Another will arrive with a cold front later on this evening. So let's go through that timeline in a little more detail. Again, the alert day as a whole goes from 2 p.m. to midnight. Early on, from 2 to 7 p.m., they will be scattered, those severe storms, especially along and north of I-64. Some of those storms during that 2 to 7 window could actually wind up being supercells that have a higher risk to produce tornadoes, especially in southern Indiana. That's round 1. Round 2 is between 7 p.m. and midnight tonight. That second round will feature more widespread showers and thunderstorms, but what may work in our favor with those storms this evening is the loss of the heat of the day. We won't have as much storm fuel to work with, so while some of those storms later this evening could be strong, hopefully they will not produce quite as big of a punch as what we'll see during the afternoon. And after midnight tonight, all of those storms move out and quieter, cooler weather will become the storyline heading into Friday. When we break down today's storm chances hour by hour, you notice it's only a 20% chance for the moment. After 2 p.m., we start to watch that first round of scattered severe storms. From 7 p.m. until about midnight tonight, more widespread thunderstorms across the entire region. Not quite as severe as the afternoon storms, but could still pack a punch. Here we go with Futurecast. 2 o'clock this afternoon, we're going to be watching these storms moving in from the west. This is where we'll have that supercell risk, especially across southern Indiana, perhaps into the metro too. So along and north of I-64 is what we'll have to keep an eye on during the afternoon today. If we get any supercells that fire up during that time frame, they could produce tornadoes, and they could intensify rather quickly. As the evening goes on, that first wave of severe storms moves out, then the cold front starts to move in. That'll give us a more widespread coverage of showers and storms. Some of these storms this evening could still pack a punch, but given the fact that it'll be after dark, we won't have as much storm fuel, I'm hopeful that those evening storms will not be quite as intense as what we could see heading into this afternoon. The rest of the 10-day earliest alert doesn't show severe weather. It shows cold. We go to 51 on Friday, down into the 40s Saturday, the 30s for those high temperatures Sunday and Monday, and that high in the 30s will come with snow showers as we get into Sunday and Monday as well.
Thank you. PNC Broadway in Louisville has revealed the lineup for its upcoming season. It includes some returning favorites and a Tony Award winner. Here's a preview. After 16 years, the Jersey Boys are working their way back to you to kick off the 2026-27 season, followed by Disney's The Lion King.
Who doesn't want to see Isles made in the Kentucky Center for the Arts for the Animal Parade? And it's one of our most requested.
Then it's Boop, the musical.
Betty Boop lives in a very black and white world, and it's all about her escape to find adventure in the land of color. And it's huge tap numbers.
A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical, tells the story of the famous singer.
It's a retrospective of his career and his music, and I dare you not to sing along, although some people may give you a dirty look.
And get ready to laugh with Death Becomes Her. It's all about the price you pay to take a potion to live forever. And the big winner of the 2025 Tony Awards is coming to town. Maybe Happy Ending won Best Musical. It takes place in Korea, and it's about robots.
It's about finding love in unexpected places and how sweet and how innocent it is. And it's my favorite show on the season.
This season will wrap with Alicia Keys' Hell's Kitchen, telling the story about falling in love with music in the New York neighborhood.
Are you teaching me how to play piano right now?
The president of PNC Broadway says get ready for a huge season with classics and shows that are all the buzz in New York. Boop, Death Becomes Her, and maybe Happy Ending.
3 top shows from last year is really a first in my career to land those.
Awesome, that's huge.
Yeah, I sent flowers to the booking team.
Did you?
Absolutely.
It's going to be a good season. Tickets for the next season are available for renewing subscribers only right now. New season tickets will be available beginning April 3rd, and we have a link to the wait list in this story on wave3.com. All right, next week, Friday night, Smackdown's going to take over the KFC Yum Center again.
After the break, we'll hear from WWE Superstar Trick Williams on how he's preparing. Stick around.
So I've never interviewed someone. Oh my goodness, wait until you see our guest. I have never interviewed someone without a shirt on, but there's a first for everything. The WWE is going to be taking over the KFC Yum Center next week.
Smackdown will return to Louisville on February 27th. So joining us now in the studio is WWE Superstar Trick Williams.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Making an entrance
Let's
here.
talk about it.
Trick.
How you doing?
That's how people, when you enter the stage, they say, whoop that trick.
Whoop that trick all around the world. We global.
You're
Germany, London, Montreal,
That's
Saudi Arabia,
amazing.
everywhere.
Wow, so you've been to all those places?
All those places, and we whoop that. You know, a lot of people don't speak English, but they know 3 words.
Whoop that trick, they
Whoop
know
that
it.
trick. Let's
That's
talk
so
about
cool.
it.
Well, how in the world did you get into this? I mean, obviously, look at this. Did you always dress like this?
So you want to break down of the fit? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. We got the mink coat, you know what I mean? Limited edition. You
Yeah,
can only
it's
find
very-
it. Go,
Very, ooh,
don't hurt
yeah,
yourself now.
soft.
We got the pants, you know, very custom. It fits me just right. And then right here, we
The
call this.
boots.
I love those boots.
We need to show these boots. We
But
need
do you know what they call, Shannon? Olivia, you know what they call?
No.
The lemon pepper steppers. Stay with me. The lemon pepper steppers. Every single Friday, I step into your arena. I'm coming to the Yum Center, the KFC Yum Center, with my lemon pepper steppers.
We need some of those. We never get to show off our shoes on air, but we need some lemon pepper steppers.
I like the swag, though. You know, you look, yeah, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
Well,
yeah.
we got to kick it up a notch.
Let's
Okay,
talk
so,
about
how did you get into this?
Oh, man. So I played football.
Okay.
20 years. I played at high school. I went to Hampton University, transferred to the University of South Carolina. Then I went as a...
Oh, there you are, playing football.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
How'd y'all find this?
Is that you?
How'd y'all find
Is
this?
that you catching
That's
it?
me.
29.
Hey, look, I'm still talking trash. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look, I'm the biggest trash talker since Muhammad Ali. I know we in Louisville. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, that's what I did. I talked trash. I played football. I made it all the way to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, cool.
And then once football ended, I was trying to find out what was next. And
Well, how did you then go, okay, football's ended, let me get into wrestling?
So you know what I said? I said, when you look this good, where can you talk as much trash as you possibly can and not wear a shirt.
I found a home there.
And then I found my home, and I've been wrestling ever since.
And you were just called up to the WWE main roster this year. I mean, it's only mid-February. What a year it's been for you. What's it been like to be joining the main roster?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, every single week I go out there, have the time of my life, excuse me. I travel the world with my lady Lash Legend. You know what I mean? We've been, out the country more times in January than we have our entire life. And man, the crowds are rocking. We whooping that trick all over the world. The arenas are packed, just like they will be next Friday at the Yum Center, the KFC Yum Center. We're going to pack it out. We're going to have a good time.
That is so awesome. And do you always change what you wear?
I keep it pretty simple.
Yeah?
All white, because I am the anointed one. I'm anointed to do what I do. So, we keep it all white.
I love it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
right. Awesome.
Well, we will have to check you out next Friday at the KFC Yum Center, too.
Right.
We are all looking forward to it, especially because you've got us all hyped up at 7 a.m.
That's right. Get your limited tickets at Ticketmaster. You give us your dollars, we make you holler. Let's talk about it.
I love that. Give us your dollar, we make you holler.
That's right.
And look at that fancy necklace, too. Wow. I think this is the first time before, like 5 p.m. I've interviewed someone like this.
Shannon, you're giving me a big head now. I mean, I already got a big head. I mean, you're flattering me right now. You know what I mean?
You deserve it. Yeah. Our producer said, Olivia, just wait until you see Trick.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We'll be right back with more Sunrise Extra.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kogan. A man's in critical condition after a shooting in the Portland neighborhood this morning. It happened at the intersection of North 28th Street and St. Xavier's Street around 2 a.m. Officers arrived and found a man who had been shot multiple times, and police do not have any suspects right now. Let's go to Carson with a look at the weather. It is an alert day.
It is indeed. We'll be tracking severe storms this afternoon, this evening. Right now, the main concern is fog yet again. Live look at downtown. You can see that low-hanging cloud cover starting to cover up the skyscrapers just a little bit, but we are seeing reduced visibilities around 2 or 3 miles in a few spots this morning. So if you encounter that fog, make sure you slow down. We also have a few showers still out there this morning, not seeing as many heavier downpours compared to earlier, but even so, those of you east of I-65 getting in on a few showers, really just sprinkles across western Henry County into parts of Oldham County. The more widespread activity is along the Bluegrass Parkway at Nelson County. Still a heavier downpour just south of Bardstown. Additional downpours are in eastern Shelby County as well as near Springfield in Washington County, Kentucky. The next 12 hours keeps that small rain chance this morning. Mainly just the fog will be the issue for now. But later this afternoon, especially after 2 p.m., our wave weather alert day kicks in for maybe 2 rounds of strong to severe severe storms. Here comes round one on Futurecast, maybe as early as 2 o'clock. We'll be watching this first round very closely this afternoon for any supercells that may try to develop. That would increase the tornado risk, especially in southern Indiana. Later this evening, we're still waiting on a cold front to move through, but as it does, notice how that storm coverage after about 7 o'clock tonight becomes fairly widespread. These evening storms may not be quite as potent as what we see this afternoon, but they could be on the stronger side once again. We'll start to clear things out after midnight tonight, setting the stage for a cooler Friday.
And thanks for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. Really cool interview we just had with WWE Superstar Trick Williams. I know he was sitting down the whole time, but he stood up and wow, he's a big man too. You've got to check it out at the KFC Yum Center next Friday night. Plus, we have plenty of other sports to get to. I mean, we've got the Olympics, still a few days left of that. Plus, we will dive into some more local news. We have a new documentary that's coming out. It's based on a murder that happened here in Louisville. We'll talk about that, plus a big announcement for Thunder over Louisville coming up first. But let's hit on some of the harder news headlines. The father is pleading with Kentucky lawmakers to make it harder for violent offenders to be released from jail. The father of Logan Tipton is asking lawmakers to pass Logan's Law. Logan Tipton was killed in his Versailles home in 2015. The jury found the attacker, Ronald Exantis, not guilty by reason of insanity in Logan's murder, but he was convicted of assaulting members of Logan's family. Exantis was released from prison on mandatory re-entry supervision last fall and was later arrested in Florida for violating terms of his release. He's now serving out his original 20-year sentence.
No family should ever have to suffer the fact that their child was not important enough to keep this man behind bars.
That's Logan's father. This bill would reform the insanity defense and require consecutive sentencing for violent felons. His father says the bill would have protected his family from more pain. The bill passed through the Judiciary Committee, and next it will be up for a vote in the House. The man accused of going on a violent carjacking spree is now facing charges for an October homicide in Jeffersontown. Jeffersontown police say 36-year-old Winthrop Taylor is connected to the shooting death of Arise Clayton. She was shot and killed at the Arbor Point apartment last October. Police found her dead in a chair with multiple gunshot wounds. Taylor was indicted on charges including murder and receiving stolen property. Taylor was first arrested back in December. Police say he went on a crime spree that started with Taylor carjacking a woman. Investigators say he later pulled up to another driver at a gas station on Bardstown Road near the Krispy Kreme and shot at them. An An LMPD officer who was in the area shot back at Taylor. This is body camera video of that shooting. Taylor was not injured in that shooting. He was later arrested, though, after a car and foot chase. A new report shows the Clark County Jail has brought in nearly $2 million for holding undocumented immigrant inmates in ICE. The News and Tribune reports the jail currently has 92 ICE inmates and received more than $1.8 million for holding them. 61 of those inmates are men, or 31 are men, while 61 are women. The jail became an ICE holding facility in April of last year. Police say since then, the jail has seen 541 ICE inmates. The county's agreement with ICE states they will take up to 150 ICE detainees at a time who are supposed to spend short to midterm ranges of time in jail of up to 30 days. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was in Frankfort Wednesday, urging Kentucky lawmakers to support an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that would require a balanced federal budget. It comes as the national debt has reached more than $38 trillion. Kentucky lawmakers are considering a resolution that asks Congress to submit a balanced budget amendment for the states to ratify. If Congress doesn't do that, under the Constitution, 2/3 of states can call for a national convention to propose their own amendment, and that's never happened in U.S. history.
An Article 5 convention cannot change the Constitution. It's simply one mechanism of proposing. Congress can propose with 2/3, the states can propose with 2/3. Ultimately, any actual change for the Constitution requires ratification of 3/4 of the states, 38 states.
28 states have already passed resolutions similar to the one Kentucky is considering. 34 states are needed to call for a constitutional convention, but 38 states are needed to ratify any constitutional amendment at the convention. The former owner of Victoria's Secret testified about Jeffrey Epstein, but now Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie is accusing the Justice Department of trying to shield him. Members of the House Oversight Committee met with billionaire Les Wexner at his compound. In a 3-page written statement, Wexner called Epstein a con man and denied knowledge of his crimes. He also mentioned Epstein's survivors, saying his heart goes out to them. Congressman Massie points to an FBI document that names the businessman as a potential co-conspirator in certain Epstein matters. The DOJ has denied a cover-up. Meanwhile, Representatives Ro Khanna of California and Congressman Massie plan to attempt to force a vote on a war powers resolution blocking military action against Iran without congressional authorization. Right now, the Defense Department is sending a large array of additional weaponry to the Middle East, including more warships, air defenses, and submarines. Congressman Khanna took to X to say, Massie and I have a war powers resolution to debate and vote on war before putting U.S. troops in harm's way. He framed the legislation as an attempt to block a war with Iran that he says would be catastrophic. Similar legislation is pending in the Senate, introduced by Senators Tim Kaine of Virginia and Rand Paul of Kentucky. Things are starting to heat up as we are 90 days until the primary elections in Kentucky. One race being watched closely is for the U.S. Senate seat being vacated by Senator Mitch McConnell. Democrat Charles Booker says he's picked up endorsements for his campaign. That includes from the Working Families Party and Nina Turner. Turner is the former national co-chair for Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign. Booker thanked Turner for her support, calling her an unwavering voice for justice and working people. But it is a crowded field in the Democratic nomination. Candidate Amy McGrath says her campaign has picked up endorsements from former Kentucky Governor Paul Patton. Horse trainer Dale Roman says he's running as an independent Democrat, while Democrat Kentucky House Minority Leader Pamela Stevenson is also looking for the nomination. On the Republican side of the race, an independent Emerson College poll released earlier this month shows the top 3 candidates are Congressman Andy Barr, businessman Nate Morris, and former Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. All the 3 candidates have positioned themselves as allies of President Trump. A measure aimed at strengthening what's been referred to as Kentucky's Educators' Bill of Rights has now advanced to the full Kentucky House. House Bill 514 updates procedures established under House Bill 300, which was signed into law to protect the process of rights of educators facing complaints before the Education Professional Standards Board. It proposes key changes, including streamlined hearing and appeals and timelines to speed up the proceedings for teachers, moving appeal hearings for teachers and certified staff from the EPSB to the Office of the Attorney General, and adding an additional education training component related to appropriate relationships and communication with students. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some of the latest Olympics action, and we have just a few days left of the games. We'll tell you what's to come in just 2 minutes. All right. Well, we are nearing the end of the Winter Olympics, the closing ceremony just in 3 days. And Marissa, you still haven't watched any, have you?
I'm trying to catch up on my sleep, Olivia. I'm trying.
She's trying. Okay. But yeah, just a few days left. So
I know. And there's so much to look forward to when we look at some of the contenders and their stories behind what got them into getting to this point in their life. Yesterday wrapped up the 12th day of competition with Team USA picking up some more medals, and we are excited to see what is to come.
Yeah, and this is Jake Cantor at 13 years old. He had a freak accident at a trampoline park in Colorado, and at the time, doctors gave him just a 20% chance to live. Well, he defied the odds, and less than 10 years later, 3 brain surgeries, a serious bout with depression and other health issues, and now look at him. That's Jake Cantor. He took his place on the podium in Italy with a bronze medal in the men's slope-style snowboarding. Let's hear what he had to say about that.
For me, it's like, everything. It's, when I was 13 years old, I had a really bad traumatic brain injury. I was in a coma for 7 days, meningitis, you name it. I went through it all. And so I sat there and I watched Mark McMorris and everyone dominate contests. And
yeah, so impressive to see him now. And it is awesome to see what he's doing out there.
And then when we look at some other contenders, 12 years ago in Sochi, 18-year-old Michaela Schifrin.
I think you're out of order there. Here, let's get to these guys first.
Oh my gosh, there's so many people to get to.
Right. Okay, so this is Ben Ogden and Gus Schumacher of Team USA. They skied a historic team sprint on Wednesday to earn the first ever men's Olympic team sprint medal for the United States. And here's a fun fact about them. They're not just competing together. They actually grew up together. How cool is that? And then they went on to win the silver medal in this event.
I just want one.
Right? I mean, imagine doing that with your best friend right there. So this was Ogden's second Olympic medal of the games, and he won silver in the classic sprint. Then they took silver with a time of 18 minutes and 30.35 seconds. That's so cool. I just can't get over doing that with a childhood friend.
And when you think about just childhood, some of these people, they started journeys years ago, and things impacted them to get to where they are today. 12 years ago in Sochi, 18-year-old Michaela Schifrin skied to a gold medal in the Olympics, becoming the youngest U.S. alpine ski racer to win any medal. And then yesterday, she did it again.
She's so good.
Look, just give me a fraction of her skills, right? She became the first alpine skier to win gold 12 years apart. And after being the youngest American to win a gold, now she's the oldest at 30. And I don't like that. Oldest at 30.
No, she is still young. Come on. Give Michaela some credit there.
Exactly. And this marked her 4th Olympic medal, the most by an American skier.
So impressive. Let's hear what she had to say after that win.
Even despite nerves and everything, that was the first sign for me that I do have what it takes in the slalom. And then the work that my team has been doing, for years actually, but also in these 2 weeks to help me stay focused on what's meaningful for us and to show up today unified as a team.
I think everyone loves to see Michaela Schifrin win. I mean, such a big name, and she lived up to the hype. I mean, when you have such a big name in a sport like that too, there's a lot of that extra pressure added on them. I'm just so happy for her.
I know. Do you remember that kind of pressure when you were an athlete?
Well, I was never an Olympian, so I wasn't quite on that stage. I did have a lot of pressure being a college athlete, but again, still.
It's a different level.
I mean, you were a cheerleader, so you were in front of some big crowds too.
Not as big as the Olympics.
Not as big as that. Yeah, so happy for her. Big congrats to her. But there's still some big competitions coming up. I mean, you think of rivalry. Let's talk about the U.S. and Canada when it comes to hockey, because that is such a heated rivalry. And today, the U.S. and Canada will meet once again in the finals for the 7th time in women's Olympic hockey history. Canada walked away with the gold in the last Olympics, but today, the U.S. is hoping they can flip the script here and get that gold. The U.S. has a 7-game winning streak against the Canadians dating back to the 2025 World Championships, and that stretch includes a sweep of Canada in the 2025 rivalry series leading up to the Olympics. So the U.S. favored in this one, but they're also undefeated in the Olympics, outscoring their opponents 7-1.
So it sounds like they're trying to go for the gold and bragging rights.
Right? I mean, hey, who doesn't? No offense. Who doesn't want to be the Canadians in hockey? So let's hear from the team ahead of this gold medal match.
magical. I mean, these are the moments you dream of as being a little kid. Everything on the line, the big moments, and to be able to do it with this room and this type of people is just so much fun. So really looking forward to the opportunity.
And after 2 weeks of figure skating at the Milan Cortina Games, the final event of the sport will get underway today to round out the women's singles results. U.S. world champion Alyssa Leo finished her short program sitting in third place. Three-time U.S. champion Amber Glenn finished the segment in a disappointing 13th place. But hey, you're still there.
Yeah, she's still there.
She still made it there. And then we have Levito, who has been overlooked as an Olympic medal material this season, but sits in 8th place, still with a chance to win a medal.
Yeah, and that final will be live on Wave starting at 1 o'clock. All eyes will be on those women. I mean, and there's been a lot of controversy surrounding figure skating with the U.S. athletes this year. Kind of people saying that the judging is a little bit off, thinking they deserve a little bit better. So,
they're always so critical, but I mean, that's that sport. It's like every little detail matters and doesn't matter all at the same time.
Yeah, so we'll have to check that out at 1 o'clock today. But Team USA still has some great athletes, including someone who is from Wave Country.
Oh, I already know who you're talking about. You cannot know his name at this point.
Right, we've said it enough. Yeah, so today, the men's freestyle skiing half pipe. This is Nick Geppert. He's from Lawrenceburg, and he's competing in the half pipe today, where athletes do a series of tricks while skiing down a semi-cylindrical slope. Geppert has previously competed in slope style and big air. So our Don G talked to him ahead of this year's games about what he's changed since his last Olympics to this current quest for gold.
I retired from slopestyle. I was sort of tired of like the monotony of the grind. I guess I just kind of fell out of love. I didn't fall out of love with skiing, but I fell out of love with the routine that I was in.
So he's back on the skis now. Geppert previously won a bronze medal at the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi and silver medals at both the 2018 Winter Games in Pyeongchang and 2022 in Beijing. So today is qualifying. Tomorrow, the medal for the events will be given out. And so many amazing things that you can see out there. I mean, that is so cool that someone from our area, from Indiana, can go on and compete on the Olympic stage.
Everybody can do everything they put their mind to. Any and everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Marissa. Does this convince you enough to start watching? Maybe in those last few days?
I mean, I'm rooting for everyone doing their best.
You're cheering for them. Hey, that counts. You don't have to watch as long as you're cheering them. We'll let it slide. Well, thank you so much for being with us here, Marissa. We're going to be talking about that new documentary that I mentioned earlier that's coming out that involves true crime that actually happened here in Louisville. Stick with us. We'll show you that in just 2 minutes. So it started as a 911 call and the gruesome discovery of a body buried in a basement. That story is now a nonfiction book and a two-part documentary that shares the 2010 murder case of a young Louisville man. Wave News anchor Don G had the chance to sit down with the author of the book and consultant of the film, A Dark Room in Glitterball City.
It took me 10 years to write the book.
David Domine has shared the rich history of this city and his love for it in over a dozen books through the years, most about his former old Louisville neighborhood, but none ever quite as dark.
But I always kind of would strive to capture the quirkiness and the kind of that soft underbelly that any community, any neighborhood has.
The neighborhood filled with the nation's largest collection of Victorian mansions in one of Louisville's oldest neighborhoods, tends to keep its secrets close.
In September 2008, I went to look at a house I was thinking about buying, and it was 1435 South 4th Street. What interested me was the wine cellar in the basement. I was a food writer at the time.
Although beautiful, the home needed repairs.
And it was just going to be too much of a challenge. And before I left, I made sure to go look at the wine cellar because that's what interested me. But they had torn out the shelves in the wine cellar. It was just 4 walls and a dirt floor. And
4 walls and a dirt floor, he recognized on the local news a year later after police were called to the scene of a domestic dispute between 2 male lovers.
But in the process of talking to the 2 guys, one of them ratted out the other and told the police about a body down in the basement. And they didn't believe it at first, but they went down there and sure enough, they started to dig. And that's when they found the body of Jamie Carroll.
The 3rd male lover placed in a 50-gallon tub.
You know, at first it just seemed like maybe a love triangle. The murder itself was scandalous enough. But then as all these other details came out about the guys counterfeiting money in the house, it just kind of kept coming and coming. It was like just this great story.
A dark room in Glitterball City. A story that took a decade to tell. A story that took a lot from the city, those involved, and Domine as he covered the case.
Went to the dentist one day. He's like, "What are you doing? Oh, your back teeth are all cracked and broken," because I would grind my teeth so bad at night. It was so stressful at times.
Each day in the courtroom, police reports, conversations with the suspects and victims' friends.
It was taking a toll on me.
The book, published in October of 2021, took only 5 years to hit the national airwaves.
And I got a good review in the New York Times. And when that review came out, the same month the book came out, I started getting calls from movie producers and movie companies.
HBO's Murder in Glitterball City is now a 2-part documentary.
And each part is about hour 20, hour and a half, and they're going to show them back to back.
Domine stresses, as dark as it was during this time in this neighborhood and for his community, he also shines some light on the city he loves.
So there's just so much Louisville in it, not just the places, but its faces.
So if you want to check it out, part 1 of Murder in Glitterball City is tonight on HBO. It starts at 8 p.m., followed by part 2. I'm sure a lot of people will be watching that. Today, Lou City ticket holders will have an opportunity to meet the players and coaches. Head coach Danny Cruz and the full Lou City team will meet and greet with season ticket members at Noble Funk Brewing Company. That'll be from 5:30 to 7. However, it's not the only event coming up on their calendars. On Tuesday, February 24th, Cruz and select players will attend a kit launch party at Copper and Kings, where this year's Lou City jerseys will be unveiled to fans. That one will take place from 6 to 9. Looking ahead to next Monday, the Kentucky Derby Festival is set to make a Thunder over Louisville announcement. The Kentucky Derby Festival is counting down to the event's return in 2026, featuring one of the nation's top air shows, a drone show, and one of the country's largest annual fireworks displays. They'll be joined by special guests to unveil the show theme, introduce this year's sponsors, share air show details, as well as other highlights of the event. That announcement will take place at 11 a.m. at the Galt House. Officials at Bernheim Forest are inviting everyone to enjoy some March events events and programming at the forest. Celebrate the spring equinox at Play Coast System during a special free play Saturday focused on open-ended child-led play. Children can build, explore, and imagine using loose parts designed to spark curiosity in nature. That's happening March 21st at 11 a.m. An introductory hike covers binocular basics, bird identification tips, and field etiquette during a relaxed morning walk led by experienced nature volunteer naturalists. It's happening March 7th at 8 a.m. and you can visit their website to see all the fun events they have in store. Well, that's all the time we have here for Sunrise Extra. I hope everyone has a great Thursday, and that means tomorrow is Friday, so get excited for it. We'll see you back here then.